Hello everyone, welcome to our usually Thursday night D&D session, but we relocated it temporarily to today, sort of makeup session. We're down 2 players, but nevertheless we will press on. This D&D session follows the exploits of a group of adventurers known as the Blessed, and they're trying to save the world in a homebrew setting. They're currently in this dwarven city of Khazar-El-Dun, trying to gather allies for their fight against this not-so-nice other city. Would anyone like to elaborate further with what exactly you guys did last session?
Let's see. So last session was our big boss battle, correct?
Yes.
So we were on the submersible, searching for the king of clubs,
Yes.
who had kind of hidden out. We were told to find him by the other leaders of the city, and we kill him. We did. Looted the submersible to the best of our ability. Got out of there. It exploded. Crabman died. We went back and told of our success, and we were then rewarded and promised a bit of support in the war from the leaders after we did their little job for them, and the link to or at least the sale of the firearms was discontinued to the best of our knowledge. We then shacked up with a caravan, a small caravan, and headed down to this dwarven city to see if we can get some more support in the cause.
Yes. So you guys were in Rydal, but now I'll move you down to here. You're in Khazar-El-Dun now, Dwarven City. You had briefly met, and by met you saw the appearance of the sort of ruling individuals of the city, all dwarves, of course, as you would expect. But they're looking at you quite sternly. There is a dwarf seated on a throne. He's very old looking. He has a long gray beard, and on his head is a crown of iron, and he's listening to like 2 other dwarves talk. One of them is, and I gotta get their pictures. One of them has a braided red beard and a scar over his left eye. He's decked out in armor similar to the dwarves that you have seen sort of outside and around this throne room. The other one is another dwarf. His armor is as functional as the other dwarves, but his appears to be of a different make, so to speak. And this dwarf's beard is a dark brown, and only has a single braid into it. But his armor is very elaborate, even more so, or about the same degree to this other dwarves. And they are, when it looks like they're in the middle of discussing something, but when you guys sort of were announced and approached, they stopped what they were talking about, to regard you all.
Hmm. All right. Well, you must have heard of our coming here. We're here to represent Stormhaven.
And yeah, so, but if you do, you remember the purpose why you came to the city in particular?
We were looking to. I mean, they're the supply chain, right? Or they're trying to
So,
build
I was gonna ask
the
him makes us
the
some guns.
guns.
so essentially, you have everything you need to make guns, except the people to make them, and that's what we're looking for the Dwarven City. I'm just making sure because that'll flavor how this conversation goes.
Okay.
And the king says, I I recognize your symbol. So tell me, representatives of Stormhaven, what brings you to our fair city?
Well, we have a series of devices that we are looking to have built. Um, Unfortunately, their exact nature and blueprints are rather confidential. So this would be of the utmost secrecy. I will entrust you uh, uh, to ensure that only the most trusted eyes are able to see them. I was kind of like glancing about the room.
Yeah. And that he says, well, every city has its secrets. You need to enlist the aid of our smiths, then, in the construction of this item.
That is correct.
Well, that is most unfortunate, because you see, our smiths are missing.
What?
Missing
So,
all of them.
well, there is one left, but I don't think he'll be able to help you in what you need.
What happened that they're all missing?
Well, I'll I I know some things, but I'll let my uh, army general fill you in. And the one with the single braid of dark um, brown hair, single braided beard of dark brown hair steps up. He goes, the uh, the Smiths, they're kind of strange, not like most dwarves. They find something new and they gravitate towards it. They said they needed something, or they found something deep underground in an area we call the Deep Dark, and they needed to enlist the army's aid in protecting them from any orcs that might be down there. They said they established a research post and they sent for a contingent of dwarves to help protect it. As my men made their way down to the research post, they saw that it was surrounded by orcs. Many more than we're used to seeing or have ever seen. In fact, records show we haven't seen numbers like this since the old war. Rough estimates, of course, when you're getting numbers of this high, at least 10,000, possibly more.
Please don't tell me your brewmasters have disappeared too, because I'm very low.
Oh no, he's here, just somewhere else. Not doesn't really concern him. So he's in his workshop working on stuff.
So what happened to this army? Or rather, what happened to your army?
Well, my men tried to extract our smiths. They might be strange, but they sort of they house all the knowledge of our city as well as our magical ability, and even combined, we were unable to extract them. The dwarves I sent down there, 1,000 in number, were slaughtered.
So, any idea why this might be the case? What these orcs have a history, or are they just some wild roving barbarians?
So you can see that as they are talking more and more about orcs, their like features turn to like disgust, and it's very clear to you that they don't like orcs at all. And he says, "Those damn greenskins have always been a menace, but it's usually the occasional roving band, some orc." Thinks he's a big shot, and gathers a group of other orcs who believe he's a big shot, and they try to interfere with our mining efforts. We send the army down there to educate them, but they've never appeared in numbers more than 100 at a time, so this hasn't been an issue really. Any sort of orc attack we'll be able to quickly put down. This is something different. I don't know what exactly those smiths found down there, but I hope it's worth it.
Well, have you done any sort of spell-assisted searching?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Spells such as locate object or locate creature, something along those lines.
He says, I'm not a spellcaster myself, but what are you trying to locate?
Well, these smiths.
We know where they are. We just can't get to them.
You know that they live?
Last time we checked, which was 2 days ago, they were still alive.
So they are alive, simply surrounded by an orcish.
Yes. They are potent spellcasters. Perhaps they are using spells and other technological means in order to repel the orcs, but it is not enough to allow them to leave.
How did the orcs amass such an army without anyone's knowledge?
That we don't know. We do regular patrols throughout the deep dark, looking for signs of orc activity, so we can squash it. But they just sort of came out of nowhere, it seems.
And you have no idea what they want.
Well, they're damn greenskins. What they want is death to dwarven lives. To take away all we hold dear and kill us all.
Well, perhaps, but then why have they not attacked the city?
Probably because they can't get to it. Or they're dumb. I don't know. Orcs are stupid. They see dwarves, they want to kill dwarves.
Almond is going to is going to use message to talk to Alistair, and Aja, and the message that she's going to send is somehow I doubt it's quite that straightforward.
Do you allow the message back?
Yes.
I'll say, might be worth talking to these orcs, see what they actually want. We're not dwarves, at least. Might not get attacked outright. And we're faster. If we need to run away.
Oh wait, this is in your mind, right? Okay, got it.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
this
yeah.
is all message. We're not talking shit
Yeah.
about the dwarves in front of
No,
the
no, no, no,
dwarves.
no. I understand. I'm just saying they would have a response to that what you said in particular. But yeah. And he says, so the king they just see you kind of like staring blankly into space. They say, and that's if you want the Smiths, you'll need to, for whatever you're doing, you'll need to go down there and get them.
All right. I think that's something we can attempt to do. See, any other information that's pertinent that you would like to let us know?
Make a
And
persuasion
would you be-
check.
For me?
Yep.
All right.
Well, yeah, because you're the one that said pertinent information.
Cool and good and all right. Okay. Well, that's about as good as that's going to be.
You have a minus. This is like your first non-charismatic character because you usually always play. So it's weird to see
Always
you not have like a
some kind of charisma
+4 or
caster.
5 or at least to your persuasion.
Man, I should have made that question.
And he says, 17 is good, but it's not good enough for this. And so he just says, that's all the information we have at this time.
Well, could we perhaps request a guide down to where the Smiths were last seen? I know that the path is likely difficult, but it seems to me that they're likely a very valuable commodity to you and your city.
Well, yes, they are. That's why we were discussing ways to save them. Perhaps a small, more elite strike force can somehow distract the orcs, and because, like I said, they're dumb, and get the Smiths out. Stormhaven always has a habit of appointing capable individuals as their ambassadors. From how you're armed, I assume you are capable individuals.
I would consider us capable, yes.
Well, cool. You can ask Stormhaven for our credentials if there's any question.
No one is dumb enough to pretend. I see those mithril rings upon your fingers. No one is dumb enough to try to counterfeit such a thing. And no one is dumb enough to try to trick a dwarf in stonework or metallurgy.
Of course not. We came to you because you are the best.
You will need help. I'm not going to, of course, send you out there unprepared. There are some humans among you that are not accustomed to the dark places of the world. You'll need something for that. Go to the Smith Quarter and see, well, the last one we have available to us. His name is Alon. What's his last name? He would say the full name is why I'm...
Can I insight
Okay.
check him to see his personal opinion on Alon?
Yeah. He says he'll Alon Stone Singer. It's not that... how would this be? There is a... How... Do you speak Dwarvish? How familiar are you with dwarves?
I do speak it.
Okay. So, learning Dwarvish, you would have learned a bit about traditions and history of dwarves that are very sort of like ancestor-based and like elder-based society. Like, if the older you are, the more respect you are given. It looks like this king doesn't think too highly of Alon, and you think that might be due to maybe Alon's age. If he was the only, or it could be incompetence. If he's the only smith left behind, it's because they probably didn't think he would be able to help them. Perhaps this is conjecture on your part, but there is some sort of feeling about even the other dwarves present feel like Alon can't really do that much.
All right, I'm ready to go meet.
Oh, yeah. When you do see him, he's not used to talking to people, so don't try to scare him.
That's okay. We're very friendly.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Is it feasible if I were to have my familiar on my shoulder to see through their eyes? Would I be able to act normally in if we were ambushed or something like in combat? Would I be able to act normally, or is it? I think the wording is as an action on your turn, you can start to see through its eyes. But is that something that's just continued, or do I have to keep that up as an action?
Let me look up the wording.
Says, additionally, as an action, you can see through their familiar's eyes and see what it sees until the start of your next turn.
Yeah, so that would just, in combat-wise, normally it's not a problem because you're not in combat, but in combat that would take up your action. So you'd have a bonus action left. It doesn't count as a spell, because you, you've already sort of cast it, so to speak. You're not using a spell slot or anything for it to do this. So you can still use a spell as a bonus action and still have movement. But it might be difficult to navigate because you're looking through something else's eyes, and positioning and stuff like that is different than what you're accustomed to.
Okay. Um. All right. I want to. I'll say to them. So, do you happen to have a purveyor of magical abilities, scrolls and items and that sort of thing?
If you're worried about your ability to see underground, that is what we're sending you to Alon for.
Okay. How are they able to help?
There's a wry smile. On um on the on their faces when you say that. He'll say, "It'll be interesting."
Hmm. I don't care for that, but I'll trust your judgment. All right. Well, believe we have our task, and I believe we have our guide. Do either of you have any other questions?
Um, Anyone got any questions?
So, to be clear, the arrangement here is that we bring back your smiths and they will produce the items that we require.
Well, yes. Is that? I'm sure they would also be more than willing to help. Dwarves don't forget a debt.
Besides, I'm sure they'd be eager to try out their skills on something so novel.
Yeah, you're starting to think like a smith. Bah.
I can appreciate the crafting of something or other, and going where no one's gone before.
They just shake your head when you say that.
Well, all right. Unless there's anything else, let's get going. All right. Thank you for having us. We'll get this taken care of, and I'll start to leave.
All right, and they sort of like do a slight bow to you. The king does not bow, but the other two do a slight bow to you as you turn to leave. You are led outside. Um, the guard tells you directions to the smith quarter. Um, it is, I believe, in my amazing drawing, it is like one or two floors down, so to speak, layers down. You actually pass on the way up here. It was the ghost town portion of the city.
Okay. I want to see what's the attitude? Are people like? Do people seem worried?
Um, People seem worried. Do you mean like here, or where are you trying to gauge this public opinion?
So we're going down to I'm sorry, which of the levels?
Oh Lord, I forgot my drawing, but I think there was four. There was sort of four. There's four layers, so to speak, of the city. The first where you guys came in was like the merchant, sort of like where all the inns and the shops are and the stores. And so the second was residential. Third was where the smiths were, and fourth um, was the sort of like where you're at now, the sort of royal place. Um, and give me an insight check to sort of suss this out.
All right.
All right, so let's see how this would parse. You get the feeling that on the first floor where you guys came in, people, it was like a busy sort of trade city. Like people were, damn, you guys all roll really well. Yeah, people were conducting business. It didn't seem to be like it was business as usual, so to speak. There's nothing really going on there out of the ordinary, so to speak, or at least in the minds of the people there. The residence quarter, like people live, that was there were of course people there, but mainly dwarfs, and they mainly kept to themselves, so you didn't really get a good read on the people there. The third floor was the Smith's quarter. That was deserted as far as you could tell. There was nothing going on there. There was the odd guard patrol, but that was it. Where you're at now, you see worry on the faces of the people you just the noble, not the king, and the guard captain and the army general you just spoke with, and some of the guards here seem a little worried to you too. If you know anything about dwarven culture, they take pride. Well, they're very based on respect to elders and tradition. They take pride in dwarven craftsmanship. It didn't become a stereotype for anything, for nothing. They take pride in dwarven craftsmanship, and so having them lose essentially all of their makers, the people that make stuff, as a heavy blow to their dwarven pride. Lost as in, we can't get to them. We know where they are, but we just can't, not dead, as far as you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, we'll keep an eye out for this fella.
The guard showing the way says his will be the only house with a light on.
Is there some sort of shortage or?
No, there's no one else there.
All right. Oh, they all live together, I suppose.
Yes.
All right, so go looking for that singular house.
And yeah, so you guys go to one layer down, and it is eerily quiet. Like you see massive forges, and there's nothing going on there. You see workshops and laboratories, nothing. And then sort of like at the end of the main street, on the right, there's this sort of squat little house, and it does have lights on, so it's kind of built into the ground. Like if you guys are familiar with dwarven architecture, they like being underground, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's usually a first floor on the ground level, but then instead of building up like a two-story house, they build down. So how to illustrate it is like, oh, that's not. I also don't know why it's black, it should be red. But anyway, so there'd be like a first story, like this is the ground right here. There'd be a first story, and there'd be stairs in there going down to like the second story, and the third story if there is one, and so on and so forth. Okay, but yeah, there you see lights on in the first story of the home. It looks to be there's some artistry here in the stonework. In fact, there's artistry in all these stoneworks, and all the homes here. It looks like it to be a sort of a record of deeds of the house, so to speak. It looks like this is the record of this stone singer's house that's sort of carved into stone along the exterior of this building.
Hmm.
And there is a very squat door here. Of course, it is dwarven sized. So you guys can enter it. You just need to. Well, some of you are like 6 feet tall, so you need to like really get down. But it's like a over 6 feet tall, so it's like a 4-foot tall door. About.
Okay. Okay. My knees.
It is strangely enough, Alistair. It is still wide enough for you, because
Oh.
dwarves are stout creatures.
It's the opposite of the normal problem.
Yeah, so usually most humanoids are rectangular, a vertical rectangle. Dwarves are a square or a horizontal rectangle, generally speaking.
Slithick just gives up. He just stays outside.
He's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, Anna just bends at the waist. She's good.
But yeah,
And then does a Gandalf inside.
yeah, you guys, it is higher enough. I mean, it is high enough inside. It's about 7 feet tall inside. It's not the 11 feet tall that you would expect from like normal homes, or homes that are in cities predominantly human. So yeah, so you guys can stand in this one without being sort of bending down or anything like that. But yes, you went to knock on the door and you just sort of pushed it open when you knocked on it. It wasn't like the door was locked or anything. There are lights on, these sort of eternal, these glow globes that people are fond of using, especially casters in place of a torch or something similar. And then you see stairs descending downward. There's some furniture here, but it looks like it's been used much, if at all. Sort of a fine layer of dust over most of it. Looks like this is like a reception or waiting room. But you do hear a din coming from downstairs, sort of staircase leading to the basement, so to speak.
Okay. Do we like hear anything? Do we hear this
You
guy?
hear someone working on something, and it's metallic because there's the occasional like ding, and you hear like occasional like and you hear like occasional like someone's heating up metal and using like maybe a how would I describe a fantasy blowtorch? But essentially, it's like they're doing something down here that's what does Smith do?
Okay. So we make our way on down. Find this fella.
So the so you guys descend to the basement, and you see it. This looks like say a mixture of a sort of residence and a workshop area. When you come down, you can see that this is like maybe like a living room. There's like a sofa here, and there's like rugs laid out. There's couches. You can see off to the corners like a kitchen. But that's like what's right in front of you and off to the right. Off to the left is where the sound's coming from. And it appears like this individual is getting louder, and you guys are coming, like, just trying to investigate what it is, and then you hear this sort of explosion. Not You would recognize it, Alistair, as... Give me an Arcana check.
Oh, gladly.
So there's this explosion, and you hear this, this off in this room to the right. Left, you haven't gone down. This looks like to be when someone doesn't fully understand the nature of a spell when they try to cast it, and it comes out wrong, so to speak, and it ends up generally backfiring in the person's face. That looks like what has happened here, just based on what you've heard and seen so far, and the taste, so to speak, of the magic in the air is letting you identify it as such. And you hear a voice, like, you hear a thud and a groan, and they're like, didn't go as expected. That's what you hear, this moan from the other room.
Say, chin up, lad. Keep at it. Think I might be able to help you there.
Ah!
No worries. Certainly you've heard that there's some...
Who are you?
Surely you heard the emissaries from Stormhaven? Oh, well, maybe you haven't. Anyway, the king has told us to come find you to be a bit of a help, as we're looking for your co-workers, kinsmen. I'm not entirely sure.
He woke up and he's like hiding behind like a table now, looking up at all of you. You see a very young dwarf, probably like adolescence. He looks like he hasn't even grown a beard yet. It's just some stubble he's got going on.
Damn, he's like 35 or something.
Yeah, and his very innocent looking face. And he's crouched down behind the table, like looking up at you. I'll make a persuasion check, Alistair.
Ooh. Wow. Okay.
All right, and so he's like, the king sent you to help find my sister and the other Smiths.
Yeah, it's correct. That's the gist of it.
Okay.
He had mentioned something about
why are you here?
he had mentioned something about you being able to help us see in the dark.
Well, some of us.
Oh,
Some of us can already see in the dark.
That's right. Some races' eyes don't work right.
Well, they work perfectly fine as they were meant to do. They just don't. I mean, getting on the ground is not really a problem.
I got something for that, and he goes. He leaves what he's doing. He's still like regarding you warily, but he goes behind this sort of to another room and comes out with this box, and he opens it up, and inside it looks like there's like a dried mushroom in it.
Now, I don't know this is going to be able to make me see things, but it'll let me see in the dark?
Yes. These mushrooms grow in deep dark, and we harvest them so that other races can see in the dark too.
Oh, well, perfect. How long do they last?
About an hour.
How many do you have?
They're pretty rare, so just this box.
How many are there?
Looking inside, you see that there are about 20 mushrooms in there. He
Okay.
says, I'm not so great with magic stuff, but if the other smiths were here, they could make you something that would be better.
Mind if I ask exactly what you were trying to cast there?
I was trying to make a magic weapon so I could help save my older sister.
Magic weapon, you say? What kind is your typical able to cut through any sort of resistance, or is it stronger? What sort of properties are you trying to imbue on this thing?
You can make an Arcana check too, but he says, it didn't tell me a lot, just that there were a lot of orcs in the way, and so I was trying to make something to deal with them.
Some sort of orc bane or something of that kind. I'll do I'll cast guidance on myself and try and see if I can figure out his problem. So, would it be? Is that the Arcana check?
Yeah.
All right. So guidance and okay, 25.
So this thing looks like a how would I describe it? It looks like a sort of a gauntlet, or a yeah, that seems to be the case. So it looks like a gauntlet, except there's like this huge tank, sort of for the back, that you would wear. And inside that tank are a bunch of these like metal sort of spheres or tiny balls, and they have like these magic inscriptions carved into them. It's some sort of magically conductive metal. And the scale of it is different, but you're pretty sure he was trying to essentially like weaponize a necklace of fireballs to deal with 10,000 orcs. But his magic theory is very lacking. Like mechanically, this could work. Like it looks like this tank connects to this gauntlet. That's sort of like, and on the gauntlet looks like some sort of device to expel these spheres rapidly. It looks like there's sort of like a magically conductive coil there that charges them with the fireball magic as they exit the barrel. You think that and so there's probably some sort of delay before the magic also goes off as well, looking at the inscription on the spheres themselves. It is an ingenious device in concept, but in getting it to work in practicality is something beyond Alan currently.
So have I kind of like seen sort of what his issue is, or at least like identified the point of failure?
There are multiple points of failure.
Okay.
Namely, he doesn't really know how Fireball works.
Oh, well, friend, you're in luck. You won't believe the spell I've just learned. If I can just kind of, it's probably going to be falling on deaf ears, but I'll rant at him for a little bit about how exactly
his
it's
eyes
supposed to
just
work.
glaze over after a bit.
And according focusing the elemental frequencies to the opposite end. You can never apply the inversal integer before you've divided. You cannot do that.
He's taking notes, and it looks like he got about like 5 minutes into your explanation before he just wrote one sentence, and you speak dwarf, which says magic is hard.
You'll get there eventually, I'm sure, but best wait till you have some help on making that one.
Yeah, other smiths are better magic than me by a lot. My sister's best.
Well, you are still quite young. There's plenty of time to study and to learn.
So bringing up you can see his demeanor change immediately when you bring up his age. It seems to be a sore spot with him. You don't need an insight check to roll this. His expression is sours. Everyone makes fun of me because I'm youngest smith. Say I was only allowed to be one because of my sister.
Oh, I'm not mocking you. It's simply that obviously you're very talented if Alistair bothered to rant at you for all of that time. And she kind of just gives a very bored in class student look and she shrugs.
Can't even grow beard yet.
In due time, in due time. But are you So was he? Was he going to be our guide? Am I to understand that?
So you can ask him about it, but
Yeah.
they didn't mean for him to be a guide. You can ask him if you want.
So are you familiar with these tunnels?
What he means to ask is, do you know where your sister and the others are?
Yes. Sister told me before she left where they were going to build the research outpost where they found the most of our. And he's about to say the name of something, but he stops himself. Something that they're looking into.
Well, it seems that we are going to be traveling down there to do a bit of reconnaissance, as it were, and perhaps, depending on how things are, uh, a, a rescue mission. Would you like to come with us?
Uh, mm. He looks at his machine that does not work, and then he looks at you all, and then he looks back at his machine. He says, I don't know how much I could help.
In Dwarvish, Aja will say, I hear that a mighty adventure puts hair upon your chest.
Make a persuasion with advantage,
Oh my
Aja.
god!
Alright, the 21 is good enough for Alon. So he says, yeah, I can help you.
All right. I believe we have ourselves a guide.
Ew. It'll it'll be my first time in the deep dark.
I'm sure you'll do fine.
First time traveling with non-dwarves too. You aren't as bad as everyone says.
What? What? Bad?
Alden just laughs at that.
Really? They say some things, do they?
They say you can't see in the dark. Your eyes broke. You need dwarf help if you need any proper city built or sword forged.
Well, I can say that you dwarves are quite good at stonework and smithing, surely, and your eyes can see in the dark. However, you are a unique bit of an oddity. I don't see a whole lot of dwarves attempting to innovate or trying to further much of magic understanding. And as for the eyes issue, well, if you're trying to learn a bit of magic, pay attention. And I'll resummon Harold as an owl, and just start, like my eyes kind of like glow like a little dull, kind of like a baby blue, and so do the birds. Hey, there we are. Perfectly good seeing in the dark.
He doesn't appear to be impressed that much by that. He says,
Well,
Anand is still laughing
So,
quietly.
Alistair, he can't use magic himself that great, but he's seen magic being used by others in his like his family and his community, so to speak. So your magic trickery does not impress him, so to speak.
I'm merely making a point. If you if
They
I was looking
also
to impress
say
you, I would impress you.
you can't. Dwarven ale is too strong for you.
Hardly.
not for me.
Oh, I don't think it is for Aja. In fact, she was just talking earlier about needing to stop by the brewmaster.
And any adventure starts with proper supplies. I have my own I was gonna bring, but I can share.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry, he said, any proper adventure starts with having adequate supplies. He has his own ale he was going to bring, but he's willing to share.
Oh, I love him.
Aja has a new best friend.
So just to show him that eyes aren't everything, I will use my mage hand to track up his arm and take a hold of his ale.
He doesn't have it out yet. He's getting it. He's saying this as he's sort of like preparing everything. Like he's getting like a cloak. He's getting like some good boots on. He's getting like a sword. It's like a short sword. It looks like it's actually be a hammer, like a hammer or something. And then he also pulls out these sort of like flasks, so to speak. And so it's like something like rations and that sort of thing. He says, which is when you can do your mage hand. He says, it's a long way to the deep dark.
How many days' travel?
We use and lift. It takes 12 hours.
It's a long lift ride. How does it work?
Very carefully, I hope.
He says, gears on a track and counterweights.
Well, all right.
I haven't seen it myself.
Well, then. Well, let's take a look at this. Let's see exactly what there is to see.
All right. And so when you say magic, or what was the comment? I forgot. Aja.
Very carefully, I hope.
Was it Aja or was it Anna that mage hand?
Anna doesn't have mage hand, it's
Okay.
Aja.
And you might be muted.
Hmm?
Aja might be muted.
Uh,
So I was asking for the comment of what you said when you used mage hand on him.
I didn't make a verbal comment. I just wanted to prove that you don't need to see.
Oh. So are you trying to pull the flask out of his like hand?
I mean, not seriously. I was being a little playful.
Oh, well, he'll try to fight it. He says, he says, he sees you two doing it, Aja. Like he notices you like directing it with either your eyes, your hand, or however you're doing it. He says, "This is why I don't like magic."
Well, if you don't like it, how are you ever going to learn to use it?
My sister said people are forced to do things they don't like all the time.
Or people can choose to find their own paths and do things in a way that suits them.
You sound a lot like my sister. She said that to me too.
Who said it? You cut out.
Sorry. Um, trying to do a stutter is really hard when you're not used to speaking that way. He said, my sister also said that you sound a lot like her.
Well, your sister sounds like she has a very good head on her shoulders.
He nods
So
at
let's
that.
go and find her, shall we?
He gives one last look to the thing he was trying to make, and then you guys leave and begin your journey down. He says, just as you're walking along, we'll say, we need to go to the Undercity to access Great Lift. Watch out for Drow.
We will certainly be on the lookout.
And you guys make your way down out of the Smith quarter, then sort of Smith layer, floor, what have you, residential. I guess quarters are because there's four. And down towards residential area, back towards trade, and then you get to the sort of gate. It's open, but there's like a. This is as far as you can tell. You saw guards at a sort of the entryway to the royal. Sort of the royal floor, and also where the merchant floor is going towards, where there's stairs down, a large sort of pathway down towards this undercity that Alon has mentioned. Other dwarves have too that you spoke to. If not, they would have. And the guards there see you. They stand up a little straighter, and they say, you are, they say, essentially emissaries of Stormhaven are allowed to pass.
Much appreciated.
Be on the lookout for any suspicious-looking drow there, or something going on in the Undercity.
Nothing needs to happen on the lift, right?
Oh no, we got a sizable dwarven presence guarding the lift. So those stinking drow can't interfere with our operations.
All right, good to hear. Well, let's get started then.
And yeah, you guys go down to the Undercity. You immediately see, well, as you go down, you see a pathway that continues down to the Undercity, and off to the side you also see a sign in Dwarvish that says Harbor as well. Those familiar with Khazar-El-Dun will also know that there's an underground lake here, which is the source of the insert river name here. The Rune River. And they've developed a sort of harbor there. They can get supplies, ship their ore out, that sort of thing, as well over there. But that's not your destination. It's just something you see along the way. You guys proceed further down into the depths of the earth. You notice immediately there's a change in architecture and sort of style. It's a lot more utilitarian, practical. Not so much artistry or flourish here in any of the stonework. It's all one material, very drab, very plain, very blah, so to speak. All the buildings here are very small as well, where there's, in the merchant quarter, there were inns that stretched up almost like 4 or 5 stories to accommodate visitors and that sort of thing. These are 2 stories tops. And you see drow walking on the street, mothers with children, but when the children point at you, the mom will like shush the child and hurriedly move along, like not looking at you. You feel glares coming at you from various houses as you pass. You see dwarven patrols going along in the streets that are on high alert, eyes looking around for any sign of trouble. You see a random fight break out. This this drow is attacked a dwarf, a dwarven guard, a group of 5 guards, and they're restraining him. He's like frothing and foaming at the mouth and just trying to like attack them. He's got a knife in his hand, and he won't drop it, so they end up breaking his hand to make him drop the knife. And they sort of put him in, I don't know, fancy equivalent of handcuffs, and started leading him away. He's still like kicking and screaming. So they're dragging him. It's a very dreary and horrible place from what it looks like.
Well, I'll pop the mushroom now.
And this is still well lit. You can still see here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dimmer light, so to speak. More interspaced light. Light here is also not glow globes, is torches. The raiment of the drow you can see is very threadbare and not great. Certainly, you sort of stand out even more so here than even in Rydal. A lot of these drow look very destitute, but yeah, you can still see. And you make your way down this sort of large central sort of pathway to the Great Lift, is what Alan called it, and it is a mass. You see, like he said, a sizable. The guards had a sizable dwarf contingent here. They're dressed like the other guards in the city have been. They're sort of like bunkers / pillboxes outside, and you see like maybe a little office or headquarters, maybe a barracks even for dwarves here as well. And there's this massive. There's also a gate as well, and there's this beyond the gate. You see this massive sort of door. It's like maybe 4 or 5 stories tall. Dozens of feet across as well. When the dwarves see you, they say, "Are you the emissaries of Stormhaven we are informed about?"
That's right.
Good luck down there. Hopefully you can get our Smiths out safely.
I appreciate it. That's the plan. Oh, we'll head on.
He says, two. Ancestors and Tove watch over you.
Give him a curt nod.
And you go to this, they open these doors for you, these massive metal stone doors, and there's this huge space laid out for you, the circular space. It seems to be sort of cylindrical mine shaft, but on a size and scale any of you who are familiar with mining have ever seen before. Probably at least 100 foot radius, possibly more, on this platform. There are structures set up that looks like places for people to sleep, places for people to eat, and other stuff. But a lot of it is that's sort of off to the side. A lot of it looks like for cargo and that sort of thing. There are glow globes set up as well. They're currently on because technically, even though you can't see it, it's still daytime, so to speak. And Alon sort of goes over to one of these buildings and sits down and just says, "It's going to be a while." And as soon as you all sort of get on, there's like a lurch, and then these massive gears on the sides start going down on this track. And each of those gears is larger than probably 5 people. And you're going down, and you're going down, and you're going down, and the gears are speeding up, possibly aided by gravity. And you're going at a fairly decent clip now. But if what Alan said is to be believed, you got 12 hours until you reach the deep dark. Along the way, this is just before you guys, if you want to do anything, I'll let you, but along the way, you're passing like other doors that look like smaller than the one, the entrance, but looks like maybe other mine shafts, other floors that they've already mined out or still mining, but currently that's not your objective. And you're just ascending very rapidly now. What do you guys want to do? Anything? What do you guys do, if anything? If you don't want to do anything, we'll just go on with the story. But
I want to see if Alon is serious in, sharing his dwarven age.
oh yeah, he says 'cause I'm tired of doing his voice. I love him, but I'm tired of pretending to stuff. I'm not sure if it's offensive or not, but there's a reason why he is like that. But he says he'll if you show him, you have mithril gear, right? I'm assuming
Yeah, we do.
some of you have mithril. I think you have mithril armor or something.
Yep.
The breastplate, yeah.
He says he will let you drink. He brought a flask for each of you, just for safety, because he didn't know who wanted to take him up on the offer. Because he'll let you drink. He'll let you give you the flask if you let him look at your mithril stuff.
Okay.
Anand doesn't want the flask, but she'll let him look at her her armor anyway, and Aja can have it because, Aja.
Do you want one, Alistair?
Yes.
All right. So he'll give it. He'll still give it to you on it. You can give it to Aja if you want.
Yeah, she'll just pass it on to Aja, or let Aja and Slizik fight over it, whichever.
Slizik is not here, so he gets one.
Oh,
He doesn't get extra.
okay, well then she'll
I
give
also
it
have
to
a
Aja.
mithril. I also have a mithril crossbow. He might like.
Yeah, if you have anything mithril, he wants to check it out and look at it.
Yeah, he can totally look at Ahmed's. She's got a chain shirt, I believe, and he can look at it, and she'll give Aja the ale because she doesn't.
All right. So he's looking over it. He's marveling at the craftsmanship of it. All of you that are going to abide in this dwarven ale, I need you to immediately make a Constitution save. With let's just do it. The first sort of swig is just a normal one. This is potent stuff.
For before anyone drinks, I'm gonna cast Bless on anyone drinking,
Oh,
so you can add a D4.
Not gonna help.
Aja. Yeah, you're confident in your drinking ability, even though Alon has warned you. You're like, how strong could this stuff be? And you open up and immediately your nostrils are assaulted with this smell of alcohol, and you both just take this big old swig, and your overconfidence is your bane, and you just immediately pass out.
But
An 11 is not good for dwarven ale. He said it was strong stuff.
I gotta know. Okay, alcohol percentage is alcohol percentage. What's going on there?
What's going on? I don't know. You gotta ask when you wake back up.
Ahmed, meanwhile, is laughing her ass off.
I told him it was strong.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. They'll wake up again. It will be just fine.
It's about an hour. You guys will wake up.
How is that so potent, though? I mean, Aja is more or less a professional alcoholic.
They say Brewmaster's been making beer and ale for more than 100 years. He
Well,
doesn't let anyone know his secret recipes.
I suppose that's fair enough. Anand is going to turn on her detect magic eyes for a second just to see if there's anything
There's a little bit of some
magical
in
about
there.
the.
There's a little bit of
There's a
some
little bit.
in there.
Yeah, yeah, and she just kind of smiles.
But yeah, it's a very, very dark sort of ale, from what you saw. And yeah, Alon is fascinated by this mithril. He's going over it. He says, "It's my first time seeing Donovan. It's beautiful, as my sister said."
So you haven't been able to work with it before? I believe this is the craftsmanship of your people. We received it from Stormhaven, and it is quite beautiful and has served us quite.
And he says, we get regular shipments from Stormhaven, but it's still rare, and only the most accomplished smiths can handle it.
I have heard that it is very difficult to work with, but this is certainly not my area of expertise. I merely wear it. But we do know that it is exceptionally valuable, and that your people are the true masters of that particular craft.
All right. Let's get some bonding time in with Alon on it. After about an hour or so, you guys wake up. Aja and Alistair get a massive headache.
All right. That was not just alcohol. You cannot tell me.
And Anna
Nope.
just starts laughing again, and she's like, "No, it's not just alcohol."
I knew it. I knew there was a trick. Well, lad, I'll tell you this. If I'm going to have a headache, you're going to have a headache too. Are you ready to learn some magic?
And you see, he's like, sure you're up for it? I think you should
Absolutely.
lay down.
You think this is the first class I've taught drunk? You've never met a professor.
Oh, Lord.
I'll just give him like I'll try and I'll start off. I'm just trying to teach him like prestidigitation, just like.
So
see
he
if
knows
can.
that. It looks
Okay,
like he can cast cantrips. He knows some cantrips, and he can cast first level spells no problem. But anything over than that is beyond him.
Anand is going to take a nap. While
It'll either fizzle out or it'll make a poof. It won't do any damage. It won't be quite of the effect that happened in the workshop because he wasn't trying to replicate a third level spell. But it'll just give him some force to whatever he was trying to do.
I'll try and just like have him learn a little bit of theory behind like Misty Step. So I'll spend the rest of the trip just trying to help him out there.
Yeah, he it looks like hands-on training is better suited for, but he can like for Misty Step he'll only turn like maybe like his arm like Misty that Misty portion of Misty Step will only his arm will go Misty, and he'll sort of freak out and go ah, and he'll shake it until it like returns back to like its normal its normal condition.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Because magic is hard.
Yes, as it is. But I mean, just keep cracking at it. Well, when you try and learn it, it certainly can be.
I think you're the everyone else is like, oh my god, or Patreon gave me my no wait, Aja learned it too.
Yeah, Anand's just like scholars. Whatever. Nerd. But yeah, she's taking a nap. She just falls asleep to the drone of Alistair's lecturing.
Why can't I hold all these spell slots? Oh man.
Yeah. Who has like 20 cantrips? That's me. It's me. I have 20 cantrips.
I have looks like 8.
You did multi-class though.
Yeah.
I think she has 8 just as a warlock.
I have 9. I have 9. Just being me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and you passes with Alon trying to do magic and failing repeatedly. But rest of it is very uneventful. You guys eat. And you take rests, that sort of thing, and eventually 12 hours happens. And you notice it by the lift is starting to, it was speeding up, it was going at a like steady pace, so you didn't really notice it, other than the gears sort of moving. But it became so tedious that you sort of put it in the back of your mind. Sort of like a white noise. And but then eventually it begins to slow down. And Alon says, we must be getting close to the bottom. On the other side of the door will be Khazar-El-Dun.
What's that?
They call it the city in the dark.
Gotta get ready with that
Well, that's
mushroom.
not very imaginative.
He shrugs. And true to what Alon says, in about 15 more minutes, you guys come to a complete standstill. And as soon as the sort of gears stop and go to rest, the doors open. It's massive in scale, similar size to when you entered, and you come out onto this giant, for those that can see, city. Looks like to be sort of a fortified position. Let me sort of built into the wall of this. So let me paint you a word picture. So basically, how you guys came out. Imagine a U, or a reverse U, upside down U, so to speak. Let me get my paintbrush. Here we go. Like so, and this should be red. I don't know why it's not. Let's make it green. Whoa. Okay. Dagnabbit. This is really annoying, guys. Okay, here we go. Son of a... I'm really mad right now. Okay. So imagine a reverse U, if you will. Okay. Or even it's probably less than that. It's like this. Very gentle U. The back end of it is where you guys, the elevator is sort of flush against the wall. It's out for you to see where you're at. And then sort of built around like a teardrop shape. I just made an eye there, I realized that, but you know, whatever. Kind of like this is a wall. And it looks to be like, it's a massive wall, multiple stories tall. There are turrets, there are watch posts, there are towers, that sort of thing. Also, there's a gate here as well, leading toward the outside. There are buildings here, structures. It looks like what could be mostly homes. You see like places to eat and stuff too. This looks to be like a sort of maybe a mining town. That sort of thing. but don't see any you don't see any living thing here, orcs or dwarves. All the very reminiscent of the Smith's Quarter. No lights, no dwarf. You see footprints, but you don't see any dwarven presence, so to speak. Alon will say, a evacuated city after the orcs showed up.
Very spooky, I have to say.
And left the lift unguarded?
We bring it back up a ways. And as he says that, you guys notice the doors behind you are closed. They're massive, like stone doors, several feet thick. And you hear even that though doesn't mute entirely. The sound of the gears going as the lift begins to go up.
So what you're saying is that when we return, we're still going to have to wait for 12 hours.
He says they know we're on a rescue mission, so they'll only bring it up a couple 100 feet.
That's far more sensible. All right. So where do we go from here?
And he says, I don't know exactly where the outpost is, but my sister showed me how to find it.
All right. Then I suppose for the moment you are leading the way.
And he leads. He does what he does. So he leads you out of the city. They sort of to open the gate, you have to like use this massive sort of crank at the side, and one person can do it, but it's much easier with two. And so as you do that, they sort of you just open enough for your party to slip through, so to speak. And he's looking around for something. And he seems to find what he wants, and it looks to be like something sort of like a rock that's been placed and something's carved in it.
Is it magical?
It's not. It's just like a marker.
Cool.
It's like a dwarven rune in it. And looking out, the deep dark is aptly named because let me get a picture here. Yeah. Actually, no. I won't do the picture yet because you haven't seen this part of the deep dark yet. But as far as you can see, it is 120 feet or whatever, or 60 feet for those who just use the mushroom or had normal dark vision, and then it is nothing. This looks to be like somehow, like you would expect the Earth to be, compact, pressed down, that sort of thing. The deep dark appears to be this sort of massive cavern that you cannot see the top of, you cannot see the end of. And it's just, you are at the end of it, one end of it, where the lift let you out, but it just goes for what you can see miles or hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet, miles and miles. Who knows how big it is down here? And you can't even see the ceiling either. It's just completely massive, like blank space, so to speak. There's hills, there's mountains, there's ridges down here, but and cliffs and stalactites and stalagmites, but for the most part, it is just gigantic amount of open space.
This is amazing.
Yeah, Alana's like crouching down low to the floor as you go. She's like, don't like how you can't see the ceiling.
Well, we could cast light, or is that dangerous?
It seems like that would be like a kind of a beacon down here.
As far as you can tell or see, it would be the only light source that in eye range. I think it's like a range of like, if it's completely dark, one light can exist for like 2 miles or something. I think might be remembering
Yeah, over
correctly.
flat terrain. Yeah.
So probably not a good idea to do that. But hey, it's D&D. You do you.
Anna can see just fine. She might be
Right.
able to see better than the dwarf.
Yes, you can see better than this dwarf due to your magical bullshit.
Yeah, my magical bullshit.
I'll be, just so I can get like a little bit better dark vision, I'll be looking through the eyes of Harold. So I got
You feed it
120
to
feet.
him.
Huh? No, I
You
mean,
feed Harold the mushroom.
no, Harold's an owl now.
Yeah.
So he's got dark vision out to 120 feet.
Oh, I see. And yeah, so you guys occasionally, Alan will see this stone. It's of exact same shape and size that the first one he came across. It's the exact same rune too. He looks at. He's like clearly following. These like markers of some sort. And he's following them. And then as you guys go for about 30 minutes, an hour, close to an hour, maybe 2, you begin to hear something. And you begin to see something.
Ooh.
Begin to
What
see
do we hear and see?
what you begin to hear is like a faint rumbling. Like you would just like maybe many things acting in unison, sort of like a stampede or something similar. It's punctuated briefly by an occasional sound of an explosion, and then there's a brief lull in the droning, but then it continues. And as you're going further along too, you see this sort of glow in front of you, which is strange because it's the only light you've seen down here so far. It looks like a very, very dull purple glow, interspersed with flashes of blue, sort of like a and you're cresting this as you go on a little further. You're sort of going to crest this sort of ridge, and then looking down, you can see this sort of, well, for lack of a better term, settlement or outpost. It's a walled settlement. There are lights on aplenty, but the amount of lights there sort of being overshadowed or outshined, in that case, by thousands and thousands of orcs that are surrounding it. They're like moving in it in a wave. If you ever seen the pilgrimages of Mecca or something like that, where they're all moving around that central, I forgot what it is, but that central object in the middle of that plaza, it's a lot like that. How these orcs are moving and trying to get in there, and the dull purple you notice is coming all from the orcs' eyes, which, if any are familiar with orc anatomy, doesn't seem to be right. Don't need to check to do that. And then the blue is coming from the outpost. It looks like intermittently, whenever the orcs get too close or try to breach the wall, or particularly focus on a particular area, there'll be a pulse of blue, a light blue, sort of explosion, almost in a ring around the outpost. It'll just sort of kill the first two lines of orcs and drive the rest back. And then they'll regroup and they'll try it again. And that is going on for some time.
Can I tell what kind of magic is going on there?
You can make an Arcana check if you wish.
Also, I've popped my mushroom.
Yes, you popped a mushroom, which would have helped here, but now you actually have light to see. So this magic is unknown to you, what's going on here. You're not certain. Maybe a thunder wave or something similar, but on a scale and a scope that you are not familiar with. It's something you haven't seen before.
I'll whisper, "This is some entirely new magic. I don't even know if the surface it has anything like this."
Alan, do you recognize it? Is this something you've seen before?
He says, no, but he looks pretty guilty when he says that.
Mm-mm.
So it is something you've seen before. We're not trying to discover your secrets. We're merely trying to ascertain whether this is something that your some sort of perimeter defense that your brethren have created, or whether we have a larger problem.
Not supposed to say.
All right, we will assume then that this is indeed a perimeter defense erected by the other smiths and move.
All right.
I wonder how many orcs there are. I mean, this is slaughtering them in a fairly large number at a time.
Yeah, each time this pulse rings out, dozens, even hundreds are probably killed. And you think the initial estimate of 10,000 orcs was probably on the low side. Like, very low.
So what you're saying is that there are still a whole bunch of orcs, and that this is not really making a dent in their numbers.
Yes.
Cool. Does anyone speak Orcish?
If you give me a little while, I can I can cast comprehend language, but it will take about 10 minutes.
Well, we seem to have plenty of time. Does that let you speak back to them then?
No.
That's where the problem is going to lie.
I don't think speaking to them will
Wait,
really
well,
help much.
Allah looks horrified when you say you want to speak to the orcs. He says, Why would you? He's whispering, of course, too, but I can't stutter and whisper at the same time, so you get what you get. Why do you want to speak to creations of the betrayer?
Because we may be able to get something out of them. They're stupid. They're easy to trick.
And it would be helpful to know for the purposes of your sister's studies there, why exactly they attracted the attention of an entire army.
All right. Well, you guys want to wait the 10 minutes?
Yeah, let's wait the 10 minutes. I mean,
Alright.
we're not in a rush.
Yeah, there are occasionally dwarfs shouting. I mean, not dwarfs, orcs shouting, but you can't understand it. It looks like about every 10 minutes is when the orcs build enough courage to attack this thing again. And so one of their pulse goes out before your spell is complete, Alistair.
Okay.
But yeah, you eventually get comprehend languages to start working. And what are you trying to listen in on? These orcs are shouting.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I want to hear what they're trying to say. Maybe like what their like battle plans are,
Okay, so
or how
you hear.
also how stupid they are.
So this is what you hear, and you notice the nuance of it now because now it makes sense to you. It's not just creatures shouting, which is what it sounded like first time. You notice that there are throughout the horde there are a certain number of individuals that will all, and they're interspersed. They're not exactly evenly spread throughout the horde, but at this distance you can notice them. With the lights shining from their eyes, you can notice them. It says they will say. They say get shiny rock, kill, and it's like an epithet for dwarves essentially.
Squats.
Yeah, and then they say that, and then the rest of the entire horde, which is probably what the stuff you got heard earlier, will say it, will repeat it back to them, and this is in unison. So all these sort of the ones starting the chant will speak in unison, and the entire horde speaks in unison after them.
And all of these orcs have weird, shiny, something
Yes, a
not
dull
right with
purple
them eyeballs.
glow.
What are they saying, Alistair?
Well, he was not joking about them being stupid.
And then one
They
more piece
want
of one more
shiny.
piece of advice for you, Alistair. Or sorry, one more thing you pick up. And then after they say that, the stars of the call will say for Squiggly Man. And then
Oh.
the dwarves will respond. I mean, not the dwarves. The rest of the orcs will respond for Squiggly Man. And then they keep on repeating this over and over again.
Have we run across that phrase before in this
I don't
campaign?
think you have.
Okay. All right. I'll say, well, okay. He certainly was not joking about them being stupid. They're much dumber than I thought. So they say, so get shiny rock, and essentially just everyone together charge, and for Squiggly Man, I don't
Wiggly Man?
know. They're like I said, they're very, very stupid.
Well, look at them. Look at their eyes. There's something. Perhaps they are very stupid, but are they acting of their own free will? Something is wrong.
Definitely that, because everything that I know about orcs, at least, they're they're selfish. They're dumb. And they are tribal, but they're not. they're not suicidal. I mean, they
Can I
would.
do a history check on anything that might be construed as squiggly?
Yeah, you can try. Squiggly Man does not seem to ring any bells for you, Aja. You've heard of, you know, orcs or creatures of lacking intelligence will refer to like demons or devils as burning men. Um, you know, bird people, that sort of thing. But nothing along the lines of a squiggly man or squiggly person. Whatever this creature is, it is as far as your knowledge, first you've ever heard of it, or any description. Because this is the first you've heard of excuse me, a squiggly man. At least in this campaign setting.
So, how far away are we from all of this action?
So just due to the amount of sound and light in this room that they're exuding that you are not, they haven't noticed you yet. So you're overlooking this. You're about a couple 100 feet back up on this sort of crest or this hill, this cliff. There you see a way down that you'll be able to, use without much effort. But you're sort of looking down on this whole scene in front of you. It's a couple 100 feet back.
Alistair, do you know how to dispel something like this? Like, could we catch one of them and try and figure out and try and remove whatever's control someone has over them and figure out what's going on?
I do not have that type of ability. No. Maybe if I was there when they were initially casting that sort of spell, but no, I cannot dispel this that's already in effect. Yep.
Yeah, we could use one of those.
I don't even think that it would have helped though, because
We'll either
it's
see.
like
You won't know
that's
until
like
you try. We'll see.
I think that's like getting rid of possessions. That's like a you got to be like level 10 to cast that kind of spell. But I do not have that kind of ability though. It
What
may still
kind
help
of?
to. I can. I could attempt to cast suggestion, and hopefully that would maybe override uh, whatever's on them now. If we're able to get our hands on one and learn a little bit about what the squiggly man is or what the shiny rock is that they want. Say, sorry, what was the dwarf's name again?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't put it in chat. It's Alon.
Uh, Alon, is there any sort of special gem, magical artifact that the Smiths are in possession of?
Very guilty looking. I don't know what you're talking about.
Alon,
You
Alon.
are a terrible liar. So yes, he knows what the shiny rock is. Do you have any idea what the squiggly man, what on earth a squiggly man could possibly be referring to?
Don't know about that, but I know orcs aren't supposed to have purple eyes.
No, no, they are not. And someone or a group of people who are very, very powerful must be controlling them somehow.
I have an idea. How about we start seeking out someone who's of knowledge, who actually lives down here? Perhaps one of these drow.
So Drow don't live down here. They live in the Undercity.
So we'd have to go 12 hours back
up.
to...
And
Oh shit. Okay.
yeah. So essentially the Undercity is underneath the 4 layers, and then but that's where the mine shaft is located. That brings you down here. As far as you know, only orcs live down here.
So what shall we do? Try and capture one on the fringes and see if we can somehow pull him out of whatever this is?
Well, if we just get one of them yelling about where we are, that's it. We have we have an entire army that can come at us. But I would like to know a little bit more about this this gym. Alon, care to elaborate?
When you mentioned his name, he's like, "Who, me?" He's looking around frantically for like anyone else who's might be named Alon and can take this for him. But I'm not supposed to say.
Yes,
Alon.
well, it is now a very obvious matter of life and death.
Do you want to save your sister?
Persuasion with advantage.
All right. Give me that big plus or -1. But bam!
He says, by the way, if he didn't say his sister's name is Brenna, and he would have brought that up some point in the conversation. Because Brenna made me promise not say, but it's something that makes your magic better.
Some sort of amplifier.
Some sort of thing that an orc would not have any natural need for.
No, I'm not aware of any orc spell casting. If there's an orc that can cast spells, it's just some total fluke. Like one of those people get born with it. So the squiggly man is controlling this army, trying to get control of this item. It's trying to, it's able to amplify magic. They did just say squiggly man. I assume that would mean it's singular. But if this person is able to already control an army of untold thousands, who knows what the hell they'd be capable of if they were to get a hold of this thing.
Perhaps they already have a hold of some of it. And that's why this is happening.
Are there more than one?
How far away could one possibly be while controlling this many minds?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
But even if you knew, you also don't know the direction. So,
Well, right, but guess who can cast detect magic at will?
ho ho ho.
So Anand is going to use magico-vision to look around the castle.
All right. As soon as you use it, it just so happens that you get a brief view of everything, and then a magical pulse from the outpost goes off and like sears your eyes, sort of like if it would be if you like looked at a bright flash of light, or the sun. That's how bad it hurts. You're forced to close your eyes. But before that happened, what you did see is that there's sort of a miasma over these orcs, like a dark purple cloud, is what you saw, and then like a shining city on a hill. Imagery, if that makes sense, was this like pure, like light, almost like emanating from this outpost. It reminded you of when you met with your patron in that vision. But then when this burst happened, it was like an overflowing of that. It was too much, that's what sort of short circuited your vision, so to speak. And you had to close your eyes. But that's sort of what you get when you look at this.
All right, she's going to relay that to the party while probably taking a knee and rubbing her temples because ow, 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 ow.
Falon pats you on the shoulder and offers you his flask. So watered it down.
She'll pass, thanks. But she will turn him down very kindly and pat his shoulder and then just take a drink of water.
Aj is definitely eyeing the flask.
You remember
You already
how
have
that
one,
went
though.
last
This is his
time?
own. He watered down.
No, I don't remember.
You have two somewhere on your person.
Yes, but I don't remember that.
Anand is just sipping water and explains what she saw. Was the light similar to like that divine astral light just in brightness or in like magiciness?
a little bit of both.
Well, that is very relevant information that she will also pass on. So, bright celestial light from the little fortress, and then dark purple miasma fog over the orcs, and then big bright flashy light of
Hmm. Does there appear to be any way to like sneak around the fortress?
So this output, yeah, you can get around. You can give these orcs a wide berth. They're sort of focused on here. There are a few stragglers, but you can get through. I mean, there are a number of ways to do this. You could just try to normally sneak. You could try to make a distraction, pass without trace. A lot of ways you could, spells and things you could use to sort of get around the situation. You could try to communicate with those inside.
I think our best bet is to try and get inside this this fortress. I mean, we're not going to be able to do anything from out here.
Alon, do you know how to cast message? Could you
Yeah.
speak with your sister?
He says I got messages, 120 feet?
Yeah.
Gotta get closer, though.
Well, that would be a start, I would think. We could at least find out what's happening inside, perhaps some insight into what's going on out here. Is there a position that we could sneak to get Alon close enough to cast message?
Yeah, so give me a survival check to find that. This is like lay of the land stuff, like scoping out. Perception might also work too. 17's good enough though. You see like this sort of indent in the earth that would approximately dwarf sized. That he'd probably be able to like hop in and not be visible, but still sort of like poke his finger out and shoot a message at his sister, so to speak.
All right. She will kind of point that out to him and just be like, "Do you think you could get down there? You can and communicate to her, and then you can send a message back to any of us, and we can, Alistair and I can speak back to you for."
I could, well, if I may, we could just write something and have Harold fly into the place.
Does it have a roof, or is it just a wall?
It is just a giant wall, but yeah, you can also do that too. Keep in mind, if from your current position, sending him out will be beyond your 100 feet, so you can't. I don't think you can snap him back. You can't. You can give him a command, but you won't be able to change that command once he gets within the 100 feet. I think that's how that works.
Yeah. I mean, he's smart enough to.
Yeah, like if you tell him to do something, he'll fulfill it even if it's outside the range, but you can't tell him to do something else within until he gets within 100 feet.
Yeah, no telepathy. All right. Well, I doubt there's going to be many owls here. I think a bat might be more appropriate. I know you hate not to see there, Harold, but just bear with us here.
Do bats really not? I mean, bats usually do echolocation, so there should be something with that, though.
Well, yeah, they have blind sight for 60
Yeah.
feet. But, all right, so, you got a signature there, Alan?
Or you're asking him, like, he doesn't have any paper with him, he didn't bring it.
I mean, I do. I got
Yeah.
my writer's kit.
Yeah, he can write something if you want him
Yeah, and I just write whatever you'd like, and maybe something that just only your sister would know, along with your signature, and we'll just fill in. We're here to help emissaries from Stormhaven attempting to sneak in. Help us with a distraction, and we'll try and skirt our way around.
Okay. So he writes, Brenna, it's me, Alon. I'm here with some nice people. He would say nice humans from Stormhaven. And that we are here to help you and the Smiths. Is there any way you could create a distraction for us to reach you?
And just for maybe add in something that only you would know, or only she would know about you, just to make it extra certain.
He looks at you all, and then he writes something, but then he folds up the note really quickly so you can't read what he wrote.
Fair enough. I'll take out one of my candles, and I'll like completely like body block it, and then like get Slizik to help out, just so it's like completely not visible in any way. I want to like light the candle, and then do like a drop of wax on the letter, and I'll seal it with our rings, our emissary rings.
That's what they're there for. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll give it to Harold. Say, all right, Harold. Um, I should also probably. I'll just write out. I'll draw a quick and dirty schematic of the battle, and like highlight our trajectory that we're trying to take. Like kind of just like skirting
Okay.
all the way around, uh, uh, hugging the outskirts before hooking in, and then give it to Harold. Say, all right, Harold. Take this, fly it out, give it to the first guard you see, or the first guard you detect. If you can hear, I don't know, someone who sounds like they're in charge, like anyone giving orders, try and drop it off in front of them. All right. I believe in you. You got this, buddy. I'll give him guidance just in case anything.
All right. Yeah. So essentially, he's going parabolic. Like he's not flying right there because he's not dumb, and I don't think you want him to either. He's going like up and then down, right? So they don't see him essentially. This is the town. This is where you guys are. So he's not going like right towards it. He's going up so the orcs don't see him, and then down. I'm assuming that's what you direct him to do.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be like more erratic, bat pattern.
But yeah, so he does. You feel him slip out of your 100-foot range, and then, but you can still see him, make him out barely, because you know where to look, and you see him sort of make his way into the town or outpost or what have you. And it takes him about 15 minutes to complete the erratic, trying to hide, his erratic flight pattern where he's also trying to hide from orcs and also pretend to be a bat. Not a magical bat, but just a normal bat. That sort of thing. And so after that, it's about another 5 minutes. And then Alon gets him, like, perks up. Like he's listening to something.
What was it?
And he relays this information to you all. And I'm not going to stutter because I want the it's 24 words or whatever for message, and I want it to be so you understand what's about to happen. So he says, Brenna says they're maximizing range while reducing output. We'll stun orcs for a short while. Get ready to run. I don't know if there's 24 words, but and close your eyes.
Oh. Okay. I
Yep,
suppose we
doing
should
that.
close our eyes and get ready to run.
So,
Uh,
you close your eyes, and there's about 15 more seconds, and then, even with your eyes closed and you like sort of perhaps even looking away, it is the brightest bright light you have ever seen in your life, or would have seen if your eyes weren't covered, and um, easily probably even brighter than the sun. And it's just so sudden, and it sort of just it envelops this entire cavern in light. And if your eyes are open, you can probably even see the top of the cavern. That's how the output of this is, the range of this. It doesn't look like it has any physical effect as far as like damage to these orcs, but when you open your eyes after the flash is past, I'm assuming you're already moving too. You can see that they're like stunned, like on the ground, just sort of like dazed.
Yep, let's play Run Over Orcs.
And they see you, and the dwarves see you, and they open up to let you inside. And then they shut the door. You see it close again, and they have magical wards put up too on it as well to further reinforce it. We're getting close. We started late, but we're also like close to time. We're also some people down. So I'm just going to describe what you guys see, and then we'll end the session if that's okay with everyone.
Sounds good.
So we're getting sort of the meat of this arc of Khazar-El-Dun. Khazar-El-Dun, I want more people here to experience it, and if combat might happen, and all that sort of thing. So, okay. So, you guys get inside. It looks to be a well-ordered dwarven city. It's not as all the buildings here are utilitarian, similar to the drought, the Undercity you were at some 12, 14 hours ago now. You were at 14 hours ago, but it's the atmosphere is different. It looks like it's just like a weariness over the orcs. I mean, not the orcs, the dwarves here. It's not anyone's surprise that constant attacks from orc assaults for who knows how long. Alon would have told you that his sister has been underground for about 2 weeks now. She was underground before that for longer, but she hasn't been back up in 2 weeks. So she's been essentially stuck down there for 2 weeks. So getting attacked by orcs for 2 weeks straight probably takes your toll on people. Toll on you. You see these buildings are utilitarian. They're well spaced, structured, as you expect in a dwarven city or town. There's a massive wall. It's magically warded. You see these piles of this light, this mineral you don't recognize, and it's glowing a faint, a faint light blue. And then along the way, you notice that it looks like there are. You see, before every pulse happens, you'll see a number of dwarves on the perimeter of the city will either drink this light blue glowing liquid, or they will get this sort of powdered light blue, like sort of like grains, and they will snort it, and you'll see like residue on their beards, and those seem to be the only two ways that you notice them doing this. But they'll sort of intake this, and then their eyes will also briefly glow this light blue, and then this pulse will go out when they place their hands on the wall, and then they'll just sort of pass out for a bit and then someone will rouse them in another 10 minutes, and they'll swap out with someone else, and then this same thing will be repeated by this new dwarf that has come along. And you see directing all these dwarven efforts is this squat woman who looks like she's got like a short red hair, and she looks to be fairly young. Definitely, probably not someone you expect to be in charge, given what you know about dwarven traditions, and how they view their elders. But she's shouting instructions and getting dwarves to follow her orders. And Alon will point out that is his sister Brenna. And he's looking around. He says, "But where's the master smith? Where's Torvid?" And then that is how we'll end the session.
Oh. All right.
Dwarves are hardcore, man.
I will say, as a promise,